Thank you to Let's Get Checked for sponsoring this video. Let's Get Checked lets you avoid those uncomfortable office visits by providing you with access to home testing and professional medical consultations without ever having to leave your home. It's never been this simple to get tested, guys. So if you want to get tested at home, go to trylgc.com/Cormier. We're giving you 30% off of your tests. That is a massive discount to the people that watch these videos. That link, guys, will also be in the description below. So let's get tested. Some of you nasty mugs better get tested. This is a godsend for you because I've seen a lot of mugs walking into pharmacies and doctors with their hat down and their glasses on. This lets you do it at home. Let's get to the video. What I like the most about you,
what?
Of all the, you ain't taking they shit.
No, hell no.
I saw when you were, I saw you were on the pivot with Ryan Clark.
Oh, yeah.
You went right at his ass, huh?
Well, I swear to God, if they would have told me that that's the podcast that I was about to be on, I wouldn't have gone.
Why?
Because I was so mad at him.
It's a massive podcast.
I didn't realize that, and that's why, like, I was going to leave, and they're like, no, it's such a big audience.
Really?
Such a big podcast. I was like, fine, I'll do it. But I was like, and they're like, tell him. I was like, oh, I will. Trust me.
I loved it.
Yeah, no, I
He loved it, though. I told him that. I said, dude, now that you're doing this,
Yeah.
you're going to have to deal with people.
The fighters getting upset. And I understand that.
Well, especially if you have an opinion.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I always try to kind of skirt the line.
Yeah.
I've become a politician in the game, right? Because I
Right.
know I'm a fighter.
Yes.
But you told his ass.
Yeah. You know, and I feel bad in a sense too, because I know it's your guys' job, and I know that you guys have a job to do, right? Somebody's got to pick the side. But like when I started commentating, I was like getting messages from fighters like, how could you say that about me? And I'm like, bro, it's true. You know,
Yeah,
what
the
I
shoe
mean?
drops.
Yeah. Yeah. So I totally get it. But in the same time, I'm like, this guy's, what does he know about MMA?
Yeah.
He's a football guy. You know what I mean? But
he's good. He's gotten way better.
yeah, I think I got him on my side now.
You did. No,
Yeah.
he did. Guys, I'm with the bantamweight champ of the world, the Venezuelan.
No, the Venezuelan vixen,
Julianna Peña. Champ, thank
How
you
are
so
you?
much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Yes.
We just talked a little bit about you getting at my boy on the pivot. Great podcast, great interview. You were very relaxed and comfortable. But now we're here for UFC 277. Rematch with Amanda Nunes. And every time I think back to the first fight, I just remember looking at you. And we make eye contact, which is something I don't like to do as a commentator because
Right.
you get the good, you also get the bad.
Sure.
And you were standing there just like an absolute savage.
Yeah.
And you were just mouthing, I told you so.
Yeah.
Because you came on our show before.
Yeah.
In that moment, what were you feeling? Like, I did it.
Yeah, I did. I felt that way. And I remember, you know, leading up to the fight, all the interviews that you and I had, and you were just like, why did you ask for this advice? Usually when people ask for advice, it means that they're unsure of themselves.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, you've had 11 title shots. Like, give me some gold. Give me some tidbits,
something.
you know?
Yeah.
And I remember telling you, like, I was so confident. You were like, well, you sure are confident. I was like, I'm going to do it, you know? So when I did win, I was like, man, I told you. You didn't believe me. You weren't
Well, I
sure.
didn't say I didn't believe you. It
Yeah.
was just, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You start to convince people.
Yeah.
When you were acting like you acted that week, I was like, man, does she know something that we just don't?
Yeah.
Right? And you were sitting there going, I told you. And I was like, wow. I told Rogan, I go, dude. I go, she's looking over here. And at that point, you're like a fucking monster. So I'm like trying not to make eye contact. I'm scared. I'm like, shit, you're like, I told you.
Yeah.
And shocked the world.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a shock to the world for sure. Definitely not a shock to me and all my people.
But just not to you and your people.
Yeah.
When you look at that back and you watch, which I believe is one of the greatest reactions of all time from the ringside, like we're yelling in these voices that we don't even know that we possess. When you watch it, how much joy do you take in that type of appreciation for the work that you've put?
You know, I think the biggest thing that made me giggle, that made me have the most appreciation, is you go a couple octaves higher.
I'm like Mariah Carey out there.
You were screaming like a little girl, and I was so elated to hear how excited you got and how like you were like, ee! You know what I mean?
It was giddy.
Yeah, you were like a giddy little girl, and that to me was like so funny.
It puts everybody on notice. Everybody's like, wow, Julianna's actually doing it.
Yeah.
She's doing this thing. I talked to Amanda earlier.
Yeah.
And I said, in the second round, Julianna's jabbing you.
Yeah.
And we can see her face change. You look concerned. Did you notice that, Amanda? Because in the first round, she hit you, bang. It was like, oh, another Amanda fight, you fall down.
Yeah.
But in the second round, she's like, her eyes doubled the size.
Yeah.
She looked like she was standing in front of King Kong.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
I did. I noticed her eyes got as wide as plates. And in that moment, I could see in my peripheral vision all of my corners saying, go, go.
Yeah.
I know one of my corners was saying, no, no, because he wants me to finish her on the feet. And the rest of them were saying, press, press, press. So being a good student, I press. And like in 1 second, one of the coaches saying, no, no. And then I go and I choke her. He's like, yes, yes. So however I get the win, is the most important thing. But definitely I could see that the tides had changed in those exchanges. Absolutely.
What was very surprising was that you weren't as like desperate to take her down. And it was surprising to me watching it, because I figured the way for Julianna to win is to go and take her down. But you were comfortable standing, knowing that you can go through the fire. At any moment in there, when she dropped you or when she was hitting you, did you go, maybe now's the time I should be wrestling? Because you got it when you got to that body lock and you took her down, it was obviously the perfect timing, but you didn't seem desperate to do it earlier.
No, and I felt like that was going to be the determining factor of winning or losing. I have stood in there with the best strikers in the division, the Jermaine Durandimans, the Valentina Shevchenkos, and having that confidence to know that I can, win them in the striking exchanges, to be pushing them back the whole time, and to be in there with the best strikers. It gives me the confidence that, hey, you put anybody in front, I'll fight you if you put me, if you stand in front of me, and I know that I put in the work.
Yeah.
You have to have that confidence as a fighter. So for me, it was like, you're not going to be able to take down this gigantic, strong girl right away. You have to wait until you got to break her down. And so that for me was playing in my mind. I'm not going to feel like this big, gigantic hesitancy to try to lose all of my gas by trying to take her down with all of my might. You got to soften her up, and then the takedown, I blow on you, you should be able to fall over.
Yeah.
But it's not going to come right away. You got to chip away at that. And I knew that that's what I had to do.
And you're hitting her with the jab. Yeah. Bang. Bang. I'm like, oh my God, she's just running into the jab. And then you get to the body lock. And when you throw her to the ground, I mean, you didn't even have a hook in when you're choking her.
Yeah.
So in your mind, and I asked this because it didn't feel like you wanted to engage with her in much trash talk on the show, but in your mind, when you look back, like, did you say she's actually quitting? Like, because you didn't, the jumping, because I know when I fought Anthony Johnson, I hate bringing it up, right? But in the third round, he's so tired. I jump on his neck, and it's almost like it's like, take it.
Yeah.
It felt like almost like. Do you felt like she was quitting?
I definitely wouldn't say quitting. No, I would say that broken, definitely, but also like, where am I? You know what I mean? Like, I had hit her with the kitchen sink, and she was in a disarray. She didn't know where she was. She couldn't recover from the shots. She was out of it. She was completely out of it, and I could see that when her eyes are rolling when I'm hitting her in the face. And so it wasn't a thing like she quit and gave me her neck. It was a thing that she absolutely had no choice.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I have always been taught is no hooks, no problem. If you can get right here on anybody, it should be over.
Yeah.
This is my meat hook, and you shouldn't be able to take that away. If I can get this deep, I should be able to finish.
That moment though, when you're choking somebody and you know you're about to win, isn't it the craziest thing?
It is.
It's like your stomach starts to flicker and like your mind just, you start going to like you should not go to places in that moment, but when you're choking them, it's like, I'm literally going to be the UFC champion.
Yeah, for me it was a flow state. You know what I mean? I'm in my flow. I'm in the zone. I'm doing everything that I knew I could do. You make the most difficult of tasks look easy.
Yeah.
And then of course she didn't tap the mat, or she didn't tap me. She tapped the mat. So in that moment,
I was choking her.
Yeah. Well, I was choking, and then when she tapped the mat, I didn't even realize like the fight's over. Because I didn't feel anything. She had tapped the mat, and so I was kind of in a situation where it was like, I think I won. I'm pretty sure I won, but I'm not sure. Maybe they like paused for like a mouthpiece or something like that. And then once I got into the corner, the guy's like, congratulations. And then I was like, oh, I knew it.
It's like the craziest thing though. Like I will literally say one of the biggest moments that I've ever had sitting next to an octagon, and I've been doing that for 6 years now. Then your daughter's in the octagon, your mom's in the octagon, 3 generations of Peña women. Like, that had to feel like the world.
Yeah, it really was one of the best moments of my life, absolutely. Aside from becoming a mother, aside from winning the Ultimate Fighter, definitely winning that title is one of the best moments.
You've done so many things in your career, but I have seen like a change in Julianna as a person. Because you were young when you got on the scene, right? Like, when do you think that happened? Like, because you had to make that change in order to be who you are today as the champion of the world.
Yeah, you know, I had to take my licks. I had to get in there and I had to take my licks, and also, you know, getting back on the horse, I think, and being able to find wins again is the thing that is like, okay, you know, there's ebbs and flows in this sport. And I definitely also believe that becoming a mother has matured me a lot. If not, I probably would have, you know, been arrested 3 more times. Or something like that.
Yeah, you had to go through the fire a little bit.
You gotta go
young
through the
and just
fire.
like making money, and like it's just a whole bunch of different factors that play into that. Julianna, so I ask you this. When you look at what Amanda's going through with the whole Kayla Harrison thing, and you're the champ now, and you're watching all this happen, the gym change, are you kind of wondering, like, man, all that success, and one thing goes wrong, and now all of a sudden all this has to change? Are you watching that from the outside going, this is good for me?
You know, I would never wish bad upon anyone or want something bad to happen, but the whole situation just seemed zoo-like. There's just so much going on, so much drama, and, you know, it's just, I understand that. I feel for the girl, you know, to be taking these belts back to American Top Team and just kind of feeling like, you know, nobody has your back and everyone's a spy, and they're letting every Tom, Dick, and Harry walk inside the gym, and now they're training this person that I'm going to fight. That's got to be a mind F, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody, because you know how fighters are. They're babies, you know what I mean? They're very like mind territorial and loyal. And so that couldn't have been fun for her. The great thing about it is that now she's in a new spot. She's got her whole, you know, hookup and everything like that, and so there should be no more excuses.
And you want that for her. But you want that so there is no excuse.
Yeah, no, I do. I want that. You know, there's a bit of a chip on my shoulder because everybody thinks that I slipped on a banana peel. Excuse me, Amanda slipped on a banana peel, and that's why I won that night. That's what I was going to get to next. You know, and that's the frustrating part for me, is because I knew I was going to win, but not only that, I said exactly how I was going to win.
Yeah.
Even 5 years ago when I was the special guest in Singapore, they asked me, how are you going to beat Amanda? And I said exactly what I was going to do, and then I did exactly what I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they're still doubting me, the fact that they think that she slipped on a banana peel, it motivates me. It makes me so angry. And that's what has fueled this camp for me, is to know that, like, I'm going to do it again. And then when I do, there should be no doubt in anybody's mind. It is the Peña power era.
Yeah. And when you feel that, right, you said it fuels you. When you look at your contemporaries, today I saw predictions from Megan Anderson, Valentina Shevchenko, and once again, everybody says Amanda Nunes is going to win. What does that do to Julianna Peña? At this point, there's nothing more it can do, right? Because you're already here.
Yeah.
But like in camp, that you said it serves as motivation. But then do you kind of, I know you now as much as I can from afar, and like that would seem to say, I'm going to go kick your ass afterwards. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like that would be one of those things to make you even meaner.
Well, I didn't know any of that was said. I get rid of all my social media.
Okay.
And so, but I will say this, Megan Anderson got smoked by Amanda.
Yeah.
Valentina Shevchenko couldn't get the job done in 2 fights, you know? So of course it would behoove them to say that they think that Amanda's gonna win, because they don't want to give me any credit because they, you know, got smoked by her.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that they would say something like that, because, you know, it would make them look better.
Yeah.
To say that, oh, the girl that beat me is the one that won, you know what I mean?
For sure.
As opposed to the one that actually got the job done.
So when we get to Saturday night, does the fight look similar, or is it different? Is the approach different, or is it still, let me overwhelm her, let me grab her by the ankles and try to drag her into deep water? Because everything I hear from her now is that she is prepared. She's had her training camp. She's more ready for you trying to do exactly what you did to her last time.
But isn't that what she said last time? That she was the biggest, fastest, strongest version of Amanda Nunes that the world had ever seen, and that she was more ready than ever to take this fight?
You ain't buying it.
I mean, she's just going back on the same trash talk that she was saying before, you know what I mean? And that's great. You got to say whatever you got to say to pump yourself up and to motivate yourself. But it's just the same talk that we heard the last time.
Yeah.
But I will say, I am now, again, for the second time, expecting the biggest, fastest, strongest Amanda Nunes that the world has ever seen. And I am weary and I am ready. And when you back baby up into a corner, watch out, you know, because I'm coming in there like a killer, and I'm going to do whatever I can.
The approach seems a little bit different this time, though. Last time you were almost in our faces, all of us saying, I'm going to do this. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to do this. And this time it's more like, hey, I'm the champ. I'm cool, you know, I'm gonna beat her, but why? Why the change in the, it seems a little bit different, the approach.
Well, somebody had told me that when you're the queen, you don't, you know, address the peasants. The peasants are the ones that have to bark at you. They're the ones that have to come to you, and you, the queen, just sits there and listens to what everybody has to say. But she's not the one that's going to be, you know, barking back. And so say what you need to say. I am the champion. I have the belt. I don't really need to say much. The work speaks for itself.
Yeah. Man, that's the champ. That's Julianna Peña. Defends her championship on Saturday, UFC 277. Like, subscribe, hit that buy button on the pay-per-view. You do not want to miss this woman compete. She is an absolute savage. And until next time, peace, guys. Julianna, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Guys.